All right, before we get into the video, we have to go over a couple of objectives before we get into the lab. So for our objectives, we will have to configure our Windows file server, manage NTFS and share permissions, and control access to files through Active Directory. All right, before we can get to this lab, we have to get into some basics into what an actual file server is. A file server is a computer or a server that stores files into one central place that lets other computers access those files on a network. File servers can also control who can access those files and lets multiple users access files at the same time and keeps files available even if a user's computer is not on. Alright, so for step 1 in our home lab, we have to create a shared folder across all of our devices. So we open up our files, we go to this PC, local disk, and new. If we click on folder, and create our company files here. So now we click into that company files and we create 4 new folders. Our first one will be HR. Second one will be finance. Third one will be IT. And our last one will be our public folder for other users. Now on to step 2, creating security groups in Active Directory. We are in our Active Directory tools and we are in our user group right there. And we right click that, click new group. And we're creating our first group right here, which would be our HR team. And you can see it on the right side, that is our first recruiter group created. Now we will be right clicking this again, going to new group, and creating our second group for right now, which should be our IT team. And our third and final one for our new group will be our finance team. Now, after we created our groups, we will now go into creating test users. So one thing we have to do is go into our users folder, go to new, and then users. So our first one will be Morgan Fox. This has a test one for right now. Enter in those, enter user login name, which should be Morgan. And just for the purposes of this home lab, we will click password never expires and click off of user change password at login. So we will enter in those passwords right now. Next, and then finish. And then now we create 2 more test users for our other departments. All right, so now that we have created our users, we will now add them to our departments. And we can show you 2 separate ways now. So the first way will be going to our users, properties, and you see the member of tab. We will click that, and we will go down to add. And then we could type in whatever team that we created. So right now we will add Morgan to the IT team. You will click check names and then press OK. And then you will go down to apply and then click OK. And then to double check that we have actually added that user to the group, we will go to properties again. You see the member of tab, but we can see the IT team under the user right there. Now on to the second way to add a user to a group. We will go down to the actual security group. We will go to add to group up top. And then type in the name of the user that we're trying to add. And then we click apply and then OK. And then to double check, we go to properties again, members, and then we can see the user right there. And we're going to add the last user into the last group that we have over here. Now entering our final step right here, we'll be configuring NTFS permissions for our groups and users. So we will start out by going to our file explorer, and inside of our company files folder that we created earlier, We will right click on our HR folder. That's one we will be starting off with first, and go to our security tab. Now for our HR users, we want them to have modified permissions. Let's also remove everyone from that HR folder so that only HR users can access that folder. So now that we are in our security tab, we will go to edit permissions. If we go down to add, so we can add our HR users for that. So we just type in HR or HR team. We check names, press OK right there. And now we can see we have added our HR team users to our security group. So now that we will click modify, apply, and then press OK. Now that we have given HR users modified permissions to their folder, we have to remove access to other users from the department because they currently have access to the HR folder due to inherited permissions, and we have to also ensure that only the HR team can open it. So now we have to go back into our HR folder, properties, and then go back to our security tab up top. Now let's go to security. We will have to go down to advanced, and we see disabled inheritance button at the bottom. So we click on that, and at the top we have the convert inherited permissions into explicit permissions on this object, which means that it copies existing permissions so that we can safely modify them later on, because if we don't convert them, it will remove everything, including our own access to the domain. So now we want to remove users from our HR folder right here. So now we click on the first set of users, click on remove, and the second set right there, and click on remove. And now we will keep the creator, owner, system, and administrator levels because that is the best practice to keep those because that's what's required for system and admin level access. And of course, we have to make sure our HR team is still there so they can access their own folder as well. Now we can go to apply and then click OK to save our changes. So now we're going to go ahead and modify permissions for the other three folders as well. We're going to have IT users going to modify their own folder, finance users modify their own folder, and for the public folder, we will have domain users go to read permissions, and IT users modify that public folder as well. We will also remove other users, unauthorized users from those other folders as well. And on to our final step right here, which is configuring sharing permissions. Now we have to go back to the main files right there, go to properties at the bottom. We will go to sharing, advanced sharing, and click share this folder right up top. We will click permissions, and as we see, we have everyone right there. We have to give everyone full permissions. And then to actually apply those changes, click apply, and then OK. Apply and OK one more time, and then we can safely close that. And it is okay to give everyone full sharing permissions because through NTFS permissions, we can actually determine who can actually read, write, or modify said data.